Have you ever felt overwhelmed by the clutter in your home? You know, those piles of things you've accumulated over the years that seem to take up space and weigh on your mind? What if I told you that decluttering can not only give your home a fresh new look, but also bring a sense of peace and calm to your life? If you're over 60 and ready to simplify your space, this video is for you. In the next few minutes, I'll be guiding you through 28 practical steps to declutter your home and make it a place of comfort and joy. From tackling old magazines to finally letting go of unused gadgets, you'll learn how to create a home that's not only more organized but safer and easier to navigate. Something that's especially important as we age. These simple changes can make a huge difference in how you feel about your living space, giving you the freedom to enjoy your time at home more than ever before. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to keep, what to donate, and how to turn your home into a peaceful, clutter-free sanctuary. Plus, I'll share practical tips that can help you save time, reduce stress, and even improve your health. Stay with me till the end, and let's make your home a place where you can truly thrive. If you are not subscribed, I recommend subscribing and activating the notification bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support means a lot to me, and if you enjoyed this video, you can help me continue spreading the valuable lessons by liking and sharing it. If you like the topic of this video, please comment 1. If you don't, please comment 0 to let me know how I can improve and make better videos for you. Now, let's begin. 1. Coffee table chaos. Why it might be time to let it go. Let's talk about one of the most common yet quietly problematic items in many homes. The coffee table. For decades, this simple piece of furniture has been the heart of the living room, the gathering place for drinks, magazines, and conversation. It's the perfect spot to display a vase of flowers or a decorative tray, right? But here's a thought I can't help but ponder. When was the last time your coffee table truly looked the way you wanted it to, neat, organized, and inviting? If you're like me, the answer is probably a while ago. And I can't help but smile a little because, if I'm being honest, it's not just me. Most of us have experienced this at some point. Coffee tables, despite their seemingly innocent purpose, have a way of collecting clutter without us even realizing it. Bills sneak in. Magazines stack up. Books, half-read and unfinished, find their way onto the table. TV remotes are constantly lost somewhere on top, only to be rediscovered after what feels like an hour of searching. Even the occasional snack plate or cup of coffee makes its appearance, only to stay longer than expected. Slowly, this once pristine piece of furniture transforms into a chaotic dumping ground for everything that crosses our path. It's easy to ignore at first, but it starts to weigh on us, doesn't it? For us, especially as we age, the consequences of this innocent clutter become much more significant. A coffee table that's buried under piles of stuff isn't just a visual nuisance, it can become a true hazard. I can't tell you how many times I've had to gingerly navigate around a table piled high with miscellaneous items, hoping not to trip or knock something over in the process. And let's be real, tripping can happen so quickly, and as we grow older, those moments become scarier. The idea of bending over repeatedly to clear off the table or search for something buried in the mess isn't just frustrating, it's physically taxing. My back, knees, and joints can feel it, and I'm sure many of you can relate to the strain that constant bending causes. So, I started thinking, what if there was a better, safer solution? And that's when I stumbled upon something I now swear by: replacing my coffee table with a soft fabric ottoman that doubles as storage. It's such a simple change, but it's been a game changer. The ottoman offers a much softer surface if I bump into it, something I now appreciate more than I ever thought I would. Plus, it's so much safer for my grandkids when they visit. There's no risk of them tripping over sharp corners or getting hurt. The hidden storage is a lifesaver too. I can keep my books, throws, and other knickknacks tucked away out of sight, eliminating that constant temptation to pile things on top. It's not just practical, it's calming. There's a sense of peace that comes with a tidy and uncluttered space, and I found that it helps me feel more relaxed and in control of my environment. So, take a moment and ask yourself, could your coffee table use a makeover, or even a gentle retirement? I believe it's worth considering. Sometimes, the smallest changes can bring the biggest peace of mind, and when it comes to our homes, it's about creating a space that supports our well-being, not one that adds to the chaos. What do you think? Ready for a fresh start? 2. Duplicate kitchen utensils. Simplify your kitchen, simplify your life. Let's take a moment to talk about the heart of the home, the kitchen. Over the years, it's so easy for utensils to multiply. At first, it's just one extra spatula or another whisk, but before you know it, you've accumulated 5 wooden spoons, 3 ladles, and an entire drawer filled with mismatched knives that never seem to match any of the others. It happens gradually, almost without notice, and before you realize it, your kitchen is bursting at the seams with duplicates. I've found myself there too, sifting through cluttered drawers, wondering, why do I have so many of these? As we age, our kitchens can quickly turn into a maze of unnecessary items, and it can get downright overwhelming. It's not just the mess, it's the frustration of trying to find what we need when we're preparing meals. Those duplicates, while they may have seemed useful at one point, just take up precious space, making it harder to reach the tools we truly rely on. Honestly, do we need 3 potato mashers or 4 different can openers? Are these items truly serving us, or are they simply adding to the clutter that causes unnecessary stress in our already busy lives? I've come to realize, through my own experience, that when the kitchen is overflowing with items we don't use, cooking becomes more of a chore than a joy. It feels like a never-ending scavenger hunt to find that one simple tool we use every day, and after a while, that frustration can start to drain the fun out of what should be a simple and enjoyable task. So here's what I recommend. Take a moment to breathe, step back, and do a quick inventory. Look through your drawers and cabinets. Identify the utensils you truly use and love, the ones that make your life easier, the ones that feel like old friends in your hands. And the rest? Well, maybe it's time to donate them or pass them along to someone who could use them. I promise you, you'll be amazed at how much simpler life becomes when your kitchen is streamlined. Cooking, cleaning, and even just moving around in the kitchen will feel so much easier when you're surrounded only by the tools that truly serve you. Letting go of the excess not only declutters the physical space but also lightens your mental load. Simplifying your kitchen isn't just about creating a more organized environment. It's about creating a space where you can truly thrive and enjoy the process of preparing meals, without the unnecessary distractions of things you don't need. So, take that first step, clear out the duplicates, and see how it transforms not just your kitchen, but your life. 3. Bulky furniture you don't use. Reclaim your space. As we grow older, our needs and priorities shift in ways we may not even notice at first. One area where this shift is particularly clear is in our homes, where the accumulation of bulky and used furniture can slowly begin to drain our energy and create unnecessary obstacles. Think about it for a moment. Those oversized armchairs that no one sits in anymore, the enormous dresser that hasn't held anything of value in years, or that old, cumbersome dining table that feels more like a relic from the past than a functional centerpiece. While these items may have once been meaningful, they've outlived their purpose, and now they only serve as constant reminders of what's no longer needed. For those of us in our later years, this isn't just about clearing up space for aesthetic reasons. It's about reclaiming our environment for the sake of our well-being and safety. Too much furniture can easily become a silent hazard. It's not only the difficulty of maneuvering around or through a cluttered living room, but also the very real risk of tripping, stumbling, or straining to move through the house. If you rely on a walker or have limited mobility, the simple act of moving from one room to another can turn into a daunting challenge. Have you ever found yourself frustrated by the difficulty of vacuuming around a bulky bookshelf or bumping into an inconveniently placed coffee table? It's not just an inconvenience. It can be exhausting, both physically and mentally. As we age, our homes should feel like sanctuaries, places where we can breathe deeply, move freely, and live comfortably. It's time to reflect on whether all that furniture truly serves us anymore. Does it help us live with ease? Or is it just something that has accumulated over time without serving a meaningful purpose? By letting go of the pieces that are no longer useful, we can create an environment that feels more spacious and welcoming. Replacing those heavy, cumbersome items with more compact and functional furniture can open up new possibilities for movement and comfort. And here's the beauty of it. By donating or passing these pieces on to family, you're giving them a second life while simultaneously creating a home that feels lighter, safer, and more aligned with who you are today. It's a chance to let go of the clutter, both physically and emotionally, and make room for the joy and freedom we deserve. Imagine the peace of mind that comes with knowing your space is not only more beautiful but also safer and more conducive to your needs. It's truly a win-win. 4. Old magazines and newspapers, clearing the clutter. When was the last time you took a moment to truly read through those old magazines or newspapers that have somehow found their way into every corner of your living room? If you're anything like me, you've probably kept them around with the best of intentions, thinking, I might need that recipe someday, or this article was so interesting, I'll read it later. But let's be completely honest here. Later never seems to come. And instead of being a source of helpful information, those piles just keep accumulating, gathering dust, and taking up space that could be used for something far more meaningful. For so many of us, as we get older, there's a strange comfort in holding on to things from the past, whether it's an old newspaper clipping or a magazine from years ago. We often keep these items as a way of holding on to memories, thinking they provide a connection to a time or experience that was important. In some strange, bittersweet way, they serve as little reminders of who we were or what once mattered. But when I think about it, these piles no longer hold value. They've become little more than silent burdens, quietly weighing me down. They sit there, day after day, as dust collectors, taking up space I could be using for peace and tranquility. As much as I hate to admit it, they often make me feel overwhelmed. Every time I look at them, there's this subtle, nagging feeling of, I should do something about this. And when you're someone who enjoys a tidy, easy-to-manage home, those piles of paper can feel like a constant battle. It's especially hard to stay on top of things when the very clutter you're trying to avoid keeps growing despite your best efforts. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 1 below to let me know that you are still here with me. So, here's what I've learned over the years. Take a deep breath, gather those old magazines and newspapers, and be selective about what you truly need. Keep the few meaningful articles or magazines that bring a genuine smile to your face or evoke fond memories. Those are the treasures worth holding on to. For everything else, make it easier on yourself. Take a photo of the recipes or tips you love, or carefully cut them out and place them in a scrapbook. In this digital age, there's no need to keep that paper clutter around. Just the act of snapping a picture or making a small keepsake can bring so much peace of mind. I can't tell you how much lighter and brighter my space feels since I took that step. It's like shedding old skin. What was once a source of stress has become a memory tucked away neatly and thoughtfully, leaving me with a fresh, inviting atmosphere where I can truly breathe. And honestly, there's something so liberating about letting go of the past that no longer serves us. We deserve to create a living space that nurtures us, not one that drags us down with every glance. So, give it a try. You might be surprised at how much more peaceful your home feels once the clutter is gone, and how much more room you have for the things that matter. 5. Mystery wires and cords. Untangle the chaos. Let's talk about something that we've all encountered, yet somehow always seem to put off dealing with. Mystery wires and cords. Those tangled messes lurking in drawers, behind furniture, or stuffed under your bed, just waiting to frustrate you when you least expect it. You know exactly what I'm talking about. The chargers, the cables, the old wires for gadgets that haven't seen the light of day in years. You might even have cords from things you don't even own anymore, a relic of past purchases, or forgotten tech. For us seniors, these wires are more than just an eyesore. They can become a real source of anxiety and, at worst, a safety hazard. Have you ever tripped over one of those knots of cables? It's terrifying to think of what could happen if they get tangled up in your feet, causing a fall. And let's be honest, how often have you spent minutes, sometimes even longer, trying to untangle a mess of cords just to find the one charger you need? It's enough to make anyone want to give up entirely. And after all, who has the time, energy, or patience to deal with that every single day? The frustration is real. This is where I urge you to take charge. Set aside a quiet afternoon, perhaps one when you feel like doing a little cleaning or organizing, and tackle this cord chaos once and for all. It's a small effort that will bring a huge reward. Start by sorting through everything and labeling the cords that you use regularly. Just a simple piece of masking tape and a marker will do the job. Once that's done, take a deep breath and let go of the clutter. Anything you don't recognize, haven't used in years, or no longer need, toss it. It's so freeing to get rid of all that old tech junk, and it'll make a world of difference in your home. I also want to remind you that there's a responsible way to get rid of those unused wires. Many local libraries, electronic stores, and community centers offer e-waste recycling programs. This is a perfect opportunity to dispose of your old electronics in a way that's kind to the environment. Trust me, after you've cleared out that tangled mess, you'll be amazed at how much lighter your space feels. Your home will look cleaner and more organized, and most importantly, you'll feel a sense of peace knowing that you won't have to sift through a chaotic pile of cords the next time you need a simple charger. It's a small, simple step, but one that can bring big rewards, not just for your space, but for your overall sense of calm and order. 6. Sentimental collectibles. Keep the memories, lose the clutter. This one strikes a chord for so many of us, especially as we age. Sentimental collectibles. Over the years, it's so easy to hold on to little trinkets, figurines, or souvenirs that carry memories of cherished moments or loved ones. Each item may represent a birthday, a wedding, or a simple, joyful day spent with those who matter most. I know the feeling. These objects often hold so much significance, so much emotional weight. But here's the difficult truth. When our homes start to fill up with these keepsakes, they lose their power to bring us joy. Instead, they start to clutter our space, both physically and emotionally. I understand how hard it can be to let go of something that's tied to a memory. It's as if letting go means you're also losing the memory itself, which feels impossible. But, as hard as it is to admit, the truth is that memories are not kept in physical things. They are kept in our hearts, in our minds, in the stories we tell, and in the feelings we carry with us every day. Holding on to so many objects doesn't protect those memories. It only makes it harder to enjoy the life we've built in the present. I've come to realize that letting go doesn't mean losing the past, but rather freeing ourselves to embrace the beauty of the present. So, here's my heartfelt suggestion. Take a moment, a quiet, reflective moment, to go through your collection. Look at each item and ask yourself, does this still make me smile? Does it bring me warmth? Or does it simply remind me of a time I've already cherished? Keep only the pieces that truly light up your heart. Then, find a special spot for them, a place where they can shine and be appreciated. Maybe a small shelf, a beautiful shadow box, or a lovely cabinet where they can be displayed proudly. Let these meaningful treasures be the stars, not hidden away in a sea of other forgotten objects. For the rest of the collection, think about passing them along, whether to your children, grandchildren, or even a charitable cause. Let these treasures continue to carry meaning for someone else while creating more room in your life. It's a beautiful way to share your memories. Give these items a second life, and declutter your space, both physically and emotionally. Ultimately, your home should be a sanctuary, a peaceful, welcoming space that reflects the tranquility and joy you've cultivated over the years. When the clutter fades, what remains is the serenity of knowing that what matters most is not the things we keep, but the love and memories we've built and will continue to carry within us. 7. One-time hobby supplies. Letting go of what no longer fits. Ah, hobbies. What a gift they are to the soul. aren't they? Over the years, many of us have ventured into different creative pursuits, whether it's painting, knitting, gardening, or perhaps even trying our hand at woodworking. The excitement that comes with starting something new is like nothing else. You imagine the possibilities, the sense of fulfillment that will come when you complete that masterpiece, that beautiful garden, or that perfect scarf. But let's face it, life isn't always as cooperative as we'd like it to be. Sometimes, the passion fades, or the demands of life just don't leave room for the things we once thought would be a lifelong joy. What happens next? These unfinished projects, once symbols of our enthusiasm, slowly transform into boxes of unused supplies. They're tucked away in closets, piled up in the garage, or shoved under the bed, sitting there silently collecting dust. For us seniors, it's a little more than just forgotten items. It can feel like a weight, a quiet reminder of something we didn't finish, a lingering sense of regret, or even guilt. We look at the money we've spent, and the time we invested, and we can't help but feel a pang of disappointment that we didn't follow through. It's as if these abandoned hobbies are whispering to us, "What happened? Why didn't you complete this?" But here's the truth we don't always want to admit. Holding on to these supplies doesn't revive the joy we once felt. It doesn't bring back the excitement we had when we first bought those paints or gardening tools. All it does is create mental clutter, crowding the space in our homes and in our minds. The clutter becomes a quiet burden, one that weighs heavier the more we hold on to it. And it's not just physical space that we're losing, it's emotional space, too. So here's my humble advice, from someone who's learned this lesson the hard way. It's okay to let go. It's okay to say goodbye to the things that no longer serve us, even if they once held such promise. Take a deep breath and sort through your hobby supplies with kindness toward yourself. Keep only what excites you, what still sparks a bit of joy when you think about using it. The rest? Consider letting them go. Donate them to schools, community centers, or to someone else who might be thrilled to give them a new life and purpose. There's something so incredibly freeing about sharing what we no longer need. It's not just about clearing space in your home, it's about clearing space in your heart. By passing these items on, you're not only freeing yourself from the weight of guilt, but you're also sharing a little bit of your joy with others. You'd be amazed at how much peace can come from the simple act of letting go. And remember, a clutter-free space isn't just tidier, it makes room for the things that truly matter. Whether that's embracing a new hobby, savoring quiet moments, or simply enjoying a more peaceful, organized environment, letting go of what no longer serves us allows us to fully embrace the beauty of living with intention. Life is precious, and our homes, our hearts, and our minds deserve the space to breathe, to grow, and to welcome the things that will bring us lasting joy. So, don't hold on to what no longer fits. Let go, and make room for what's next. 8. Specialty kitchen appliances. Free your countertops. As we step into the heart of our homes, the kitchen, it's easy to reflect on how much it's evolved over the years. I know I've found myself collecting a variety of specialty appliances, those popcorn makers, waffle irons, or perhaps that elegant pasta machine I bought on a whim, envisioning cozy Sunday mornings making fresh pasta from scratch. But let's be real for a moment. How often do we use them? The truth, though it might sting a little, is that many of these once promising gadgets end up gathering dust in the back of a cabinet or, worse, cluttering up precious counter space. For us, as we get older, every inch of that counter or storage space becomes more than just a place to set things down. It becomes a sanctuary for simplicity. A clutter-free kitchen is not just about aesthetics. It's about creating an efficient space where cooking doesn't feel like a battle against time and frustration. Imagine trying to make a meal and digging through a pile of unused, bulky appliances just to find the one you use every day. It's not only annoying but exhausting, too. We deserve better than that. Something more freeing, a space that feels like it's designed just for us. So, here's what I've come to realize, and it's something I can't stress enough. If you haven't used an appliance in the last 6 months, it's time to let go. Holding on to these unused gadgets, however well-intentioned, only drags us down. Stick to the basics, those trusty, versatile tools like a blender or slow cooker that make our lives easier every day. The ones that serve more than one purpose and save us time and effort. The rest? Pass them on. Donate them. Find someone who will truly appreciate them. When you clear out all those unnecessary, space-hogging appliances, you'll create a kitchen that's easier to move around in, a kitchen that welcomes you, rather than one that makes you feel overwhelmed. You'll find that cooking becomes not just a task, but a joy that comes from simplicity, from having everything you need right at your fingertips, without the distractions. And that, my friend, is worth so much more than any fancy gadget. 9. Holiday plates and decorations. Rethink seasonal storage. Let's talk about the holiday plates, napkins, and decorations we all seem to accumulate over the years. From the sparkling Christmas dinnerware to the whimsical Halloween serving trays, these items bring so much joy when they're put to use. They make the season feel even more magical, creating memories and enhancing the spirit of the holidays. But as much as we adore them at the moment, there's a catch. These treasures are only used once a year. Once. The rest of the time, they just take up space in our cabinets, closets, or attic, gathering dust and quietly occupying precious storage. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 2 below to let me know that you are still here with me. For us seniors, this can become more than just an inconvenience. It can be a burden. As we grow older, it's not as easy to manage those heavy, cumbersome bins filled with seasonal items. Climbing ladders or digging through overcrowded shelves isn't as simple as it once was. There was a time when I would eagerly pull out those themed plates, ready for each holiday, but the energy it takes to retrieve them now feels like more hassle than it's worth. And when you think about it, how many times will you truly use those holiday-themed pieces? For many of us, the plates, the napkins, and the decorations start to feel like little more than clutter, weighing down our lives instead of bringing joy. Here's my advice. Instead of holding onto everything, why not focus on neutral, timeless pieces that can be used for any occasion? A simple white plate, for example, can be dressed up with festive napkins or a beautiful centerpiece, making it perfect for any holiday or gathering. You don't need a whole stack of Christmas-themed dishes to celebrate the season. As for the decorations, keep a few that have real meaning to you, the ones that hold memories or make your heart smile, and consider donating the rest. It's amazing how much lighter and freer you can feel when you simplify. I've learned that less truly is more. These days, I treasure the things that matter most, those few meaningful items that bring me joy every time I see them, and nothing more. The clutter just doesn't have the same hold on me anymore. 10. Simplified office supplies. Keep only the essentials. As we enter the quiet corners of our homes, there's one area that often slips under the radar, the desk or office nook where so many of us have accumulated a lifetime's worth of office supplies. Over the years, it becomes easy to collect far more than we ever need. Pens that no longer write, half-used sticky notes, a dozen paper clips that somehow multiply overnight, and staplers that haven't seen action in months. We've all been there, haven't we? Our desks become an overwhelming collection of forgotten items, each one demanding a small bit of our attention, though none truly adding value to our daily lives. For us, especially as we age and embrace the peace of simplicity, the idea of a cluttered workspace can become a weight we no longer want to carry. Our homes should be sanctuaries of tranquility, not a storage space for things we don't use. We no longer need to keep a mini office supply store within arm's reach. Instead, the focus should shift to the essentials. A couple of pens that work smoothly, a small notepad for jotting down thoughts or reminders, and perhaps a pair of scissors to handle those rare tasks. This is all we need. The rest? Well, it's likely just taking up space, mentally and physically. I've found that the act of decluttering isn't just about clearing physical space. It's about creating room for peace of mind, for focus, for the simple joy of not being surrounded by things that no longer serve us. Take a moment. Go through your office supplies. Test the pens, check the notepads, and evaluate what truly serves your needs. Toss the pens that don't write, donate the extra staplers, and share the items you don't use with a local school or community center. It's not just about clearing space, it's about lightening the load on your mind. There's something incredibly freeing about letting go of unnecessary things. When we clear out what no longer serves us, we make space for the things that matter most. Clarity, ease, and the ability to focus on what truly brings joy. So, the next time you sit down at your desk, take a deep breath. Look at your space, and ask yourself, what's necessary here? What can be let go of, so that you're left with only what is truly essential? The joy of simplicity is right there, waiting for you to embrace it. Don't wait too long. Declutter, simplify, and feel the weight lift off your shoulders. 11. Ditch the filing cabinet. Go digital and save space. Let's talk about those filing cabinets we all have. If you're anything like me, you've probably kept one around for years, storing everything from old bills, warranties, and tax documents, to that old recipe you've never actually made. At one time, those cabinets were essential, back when we needed to keep physical copies of everything. But over time, they've become less of a storage solution and more of a clutter trap. Every drawer seems to hide papers that have long lost their relevance, and yet, we keep them, not knowing how to let go. For us seniors, especially, managing stacks of paper can feel downright overwhelming. Searching through endless folders to find one important document, whether it's a bill we need to pay or a medical form we need to complete, can become a frustrating and time-consuming task. I don't know about you, but I'd rather spend my precious time on things that truly matter, like connecting with loved ones or enjoying a quiet moment with a cup of tea. The truth is, the more paper we accumulate, the more likely we are to misplace something vital. And let's be honest, the piles of paper around us only add to the weight of clutter in our lives, making it harder to find peace and focus. Here's my suggestion: ditch the filing cabinet and embrace going digital. It doesn't have to be as intimidating as it sounds. You can start small by scanning and saving your most important documents to a secure digital folder. If you're not the most tech-savvy person, don't worry. Ask a family member for help. They can show you the ropes, and in the process, you might even enjoy the bonding time while getting organized together. Once you've digitized the essential stuff, you'll be amazed at how much paper you can safely toss, shred, or recycle. It's liberating, honestly, and you might even find it a bit fun. And here's the best part: without that bulky filing cabinet taking up space, you'll have so much more room for what matters most to you, whether it's for new memories, hobbies, or simply the joy of open, uncluttered space. Letting go of unnecessary paper might just give you a sense of freedom you never expected, and you'll wonder why you didn't do it sooner. I know I do. 12. Outdated plastic cups. Time to switch to something better. Let's talk about those outdated plastic cups that have somehow accumulated over the years, each one a token of a memory, whether it's from a fast food drive-thru, a family barbecue, or even a souvenir from a sports game we attended long ago. At first glance, these cups may seem harmless, perhaps even nostalgic, but they've quietly outlived their usefulness. Over time, they can crack, degrade, and worst of all, leach harmful chemicals into whatever drink we decide to pour into them. For us, the older we get, the more we realize just how important it is to prioritize our health and safety in every little thing we do. The last thing we need is something as seemingly innocent as a plastic cup jeopardizing our well-being. And beyond health concerns, let's be real. How often do we use all those cups? Our cabinets are probably bursting at the seams, stuffed with a clutter of faded, mismatched, and scratched-up cups that no longer serve us. We all know it, deep down. Most of us have far more cups than we could ever possibly need. So why hold on to those relics? They no longer match the aesthetic we've worked so hard to cultivate in our homes, nor do they honor the care we deserve in our daily lives. I believe it's time for a change, a simple but powerful upgrade. It's time to swap out those old worn-out plastic cups for something that speaks to the longevity we deserve. Durable glassware or sleek stainless steel tumblers are an excellent choice. They're safer and more durable, and they bring a sense of sophistication and tranquility to your kitchen. Trust me, when you sit down to drink from a beautifully crafted glass or a shiny steel tumbler, your drink will taste a whole lot better, and you'll feel just a little bit more taken care of. As for those plastic cups, don't just toss them away mindlessly. Consider recycling them, or even repurposing them for things like small plant pots or storage containers. By doing this, you're not only protecting your health, but you're also being kinder to the environment and taking control of the space in your home. Imagine how much better your kitchen will feel. Cleaner, more organized, and peaceful. And every time you pour a drink, you'll be reminded that you've chosen to treat yourself with care and intention. It's a small step, but it's a powerful one. 13. Natural air fresheners. A healthier way to breathe. Let's take a moment to talk about something we all cherish: the refreshing, clean smell of our homes. A home that feels welcoming, comforting, and safe is something we all desire, and a fresh scent often plays a big part in that feeling. For years, many of us have relied on scented candles and air fresheners to fill our spaces with pleasant fragrances. But what if I told you that some of the products we've used to create this inviting atmosphere might be causing harm to our health, particularly as we grow older? As we age, we tend to spend more time indoors, where the air quality can have a much greater impact on our overall well-being. It's alarming to think that many of the candles we burn and the air fresheners we spray into the air are often packed with chemicals that are far from harmless. The very things we use to make our homes feel cozy could be harming us. Take candles, for example. When they burn, they release toxins such as formaldehyde, a known carcinogen, into the air. It's disheartening to realize that something as simple as lighting a candle could be so damaging. But the dangers don't stop there. Air fresheners, especially those with synthetic fragrances, can be even worse. These products often don't even mask the odors properly. Instead, they simply mask the real issue, layering more chemicals over the odors rather than eliminating them. The worst part? These artificial scents and chemical residues linger in the air long after we've stopped using them, continuously irritating our lungs and airways. If you have allergies, asthma, or any sort of respiratory issues, the effects can be even more severe. It's heartbreaking to think about how these invisible toxins can affect our health and well-being without us even realizing it. So, what can we do to create a healthier, more natural environment for ourselves, especially as we age? My advice: let's embrace nature. Switch to natural alternatives that are safer and healthier for our bodies and the planet. Essential oil diffusers are a beautiful way to fill your home with soothing, pure scents without harmful chemicals. Soy-based candles, free from additives, can offer the same cozy ambience, minus the risks. There's also something so refreshing and calming about simply opening a window to let in fresh air, or placing a small indoor plant like lavender on a windowsill. Not only do plants like lavender freshen the air, but they also have a calming, almost therapeutic effect. Your home should be a place of sanctuary, free from toxins, full of peace, and filled with the natural beauty of the world around you. Our homes should be places that nurture us, where we can breathe easily and truly relax. Let's take the step toward creating a healthier space, one that supports our well-being, instead of unknowingly working against it. It's a small change that can have a profound impact on our lives, helping us feel more at ease and connected with nature. After all, we all deserve to breathe easy and live in spaces that uplift us, especially as we grow older. Let's choose wisely, for our health and our happiness. 14. Chemical-free laundry. A safer, smarter choice. Laundry is one of those tasks that we all do regularly, yet it often goes unnoticed in terms of the impact the products we use have on our health and the environment. Have you ever really thought about what's in the laundry products you rely on? For many, the comforting scent of dryer sheets is a staple, an indulgence that makes clothes smell fresh and clean. But behind that pleasant fragrance, there's a world of chemicals that can do more harm than good, especially for those of us in our later years. Our skin becomes more sensitive with age, and that chemical-laden softness may bring unintended consequences, like irritation or rashes. I know personally that I've become increasingly aware of how my skin reacts to the products I use. I'm sure many of you have experienced that same vulnerability, where what once felt comfortable no longer does. Beyond skin irritation, these dryer sheets can leave behind a residue on your clothes that not only accelerates fabric wear but can also irritate your lungs with every breath. And then there's the environmental toll. These single-use products pile up, contributing to waste we can easily avoid. With the growing awareness of how fragile our planet is, doesn't it make sense to rethink the way we care for our clothes and ourselves? That's where a simple, smarter choice comes in: wool dryer balls. I can't tell you how much of a difference this small change has made in my laundry routine. These little wonders are 100% natural, free of harsh chemicals, and reusable, which means they're good for both your health and your wallet in the long run. They soften clothes naturally, reduce static, and, perhaps most importantly, keep your laundry routine refreshingly chemical-free. If you crave that fresh scent, you can easily add a few drops of your favorite essential oil to the balls, and you've got a lovely, gentle fragrance without the toxic aftermath. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 3 below to let me know that you are still here with me. When I made the switch to wool dryer balls, it felt like such a small change, yet it brought so many benefits. My skin feels calmer, my clothes last longer, and I feel good knowing I'm reducing waste, too. It's a simple, effective step toward a healthier, more mindful lifestyle. Sometimes, the most powerful decisions are the ones that seem the smallest at first, like taking a moment to reassess something as routine as laundry. So I ask you, could it be time to make your laundry routine chemical-free? It's a decision that could make you feel better in ways you may not even expect. 15. Ineffective bug zappers. A buzzkill for your space. Let's talk about those bug zappers we've all bought over the years, the ones that promise to save us from the relentless buzz of mosquitoes and other pesky bugs. At first, they seemed like a miracle solution. Just plug them in, flick on the switch, and voila, no more creepy crawlies invading our space. The bright light glowing in the dark seemed almost magical, a beacon of hope that would keep our porches and backyard safe from buzzing intruders. But if we're being completely honest with ourselves, how many of us have found them effective? For so many, these devices quickly turn into a frustrating reminder of unmet expectations. Instead of eliminating mosquitoes, they end up attracting and zapping countless harmless bugs, moths, beetles, and other insects that were just going about their business. It's heartbreaking to think that these innocent creatures are being fried while the very pests we hope to rid ourselves of continue to swarm around us. And when it comes to seniors, these bug zappers can become more of a nuisance than a blessing. They demand constant cleaning. Who has the time or energy for that, especially when the constant buzzing is enough to drive anyone crazy? And the zapping sound, oh, how jarring it is, echoing through the silence like a loud, unwelcome guest. But what's even worse is the harsh reality that these zappers just aren't as effective as we've been led to believe. Mosquitoes, it turns out, are far more interested in the scent of our skin than they are in the UV light these devices emit. So, while we've been standing by, waiting for that satisfying zap, the mosquitoes are still happily feasting on us, untouched by the glowing trap. So, why continue the frustration? There's a much better way. A simple oscillating fan can be a game changer. The steady flow of air on your porch or patio creates an environment where mosquitoes are simply unable to land, making it a natural and effective solution. And for indoor spaces, a mosquito net or screen door can keep those pesky critters out without any noise, any harmful chemicals, and any mess. These alternatives are not only more effective, but they're also safer, quieter, and provide a sense of peace that the constant buzzing of a zapper never could. Honestly, if you've got a bug zapper sitting in the corner, gathering dust, or barely making a dent in your mosquito problem, maybe it's time to part ways with it. There are better, simpler solutions out there that won't drive you crazy and will do what they promise. Protect your home without the hassle. Let go of the noise and clutter, and embrace something that works. You deserve that kind of peace of mind. 16. Unsafe cookware. Protect your health in the kitchen. Let's talk about something we all use daily, our cookware. Over time, those familiar pots and pans, which have seen countless meals and cherished moments, can begin to show signs of wear and tear. Perhaps the non-stick surface of your favorite pan has become scratched, or maybe your trusty old frying pan has a warped bottom that makes it wobble on the stove. I know how hard it is to part with things that have been with us for so long, but sometimes it's time to face the reality that they no longer serve us well. For us older adults, our health and safety should be our utmost concern, especially in places like the kitchen where we prepare our food. Think about it. Those tiny scratches on a non-stick pan? They can release toxic chemicals when heated, chemicals that are absorbed into our food. And those pans with uneven surfaces or warped bottoms. They can cause food to cook unevenly, leading to hot spots that might cause burns, or worse, spills that can lead to painful accidents. Plus, older cookware, as much as we want to hold on to it, tends to get harder to clean, which only adds to the frustration of the whole cooking experience. Here's what I recommend from the heart. Consider investing in a few high-quality, durable pieces that will not only last but also make cooking a joy once again. Stainless steel, cast iron, and ceramic pans are perfect choices. They are safer, longer-lasting, and far easier to maintain than their worn-out counterparts. It's worth spending a little extra on these, as they'll take you through years of happy meals, without the worry. Let go of the old ones. Donate them, recycle them, or perhaps just retire them, and create space in your kitchen for things that bring you peace of mind and safety. Your kitchen should be a sanctuary, a place where you feel comfort and joy while preparing your meals, not a place where you worry about accidents or stress over things that no longer serve their purpose. So, take a moment and ask yourself, what's lurking in your cabinets that's ready to retire? It's time to give yourself the gift of a safer, happier cooking environment, one where you can truly enjoy every moment spent creating meals that nourish both your body and soul. 17. Declutter old tech. Let go of yesterday's gadgets. Let's take a heartfelt stroll down memory lane. Remember those days when cassette players were our go-to music source, when old cell phones were the symbols of innovation, and when those bulky desktop computers felt like the pinnacle of technology? If you're anything like me, you probably have some of these relics tucked away in a forgotten drawer or hidden deep in a closet, kept just in case. But let's be honest with ourselves. How often do we reach for them? I know I don't. For many of us, these outdated gadgets are nothing more than relics of a bygone era. For seniors, letting go of these tech items is more than just tidying up. It's about embracing the simplicity that life deserves. These gadgets don't just take up physical space. They also carry with them the weight of clutter, tangled wires, random accessories, and the burden of unnecessary complexity. They've become a symbol of how technology once served us, but now only serves as a reminder of how far we've come. And let's face it, most of them are no longer compatible with the devices we use today. They sit there, collecting dust, and gathering memories but offering little practical value. Here's my take on this. It's time to clear the air and our spaces. Recycle, donate, or responsibly dispose of these outdated tech items. Many communities offer e-waste recycling programs that ensure these old devices are properly handled, and some organizations even refurbish them for schools or people who could benefit. It's a chance to give these once-loved gadgets a second life, while also making space for the things that matter now. If you need help, ask your family to join you in sorting through them. Sometimes, it's easier to let go when we share the task with others who understand. By clearing out the old, we aren't just creating more physical space. We're also making room for a more peaceful, organized life, one that's free from the unnecessary clutter of things that no longer serve us. It's an act of self-care, a way of honoring ourselves and the future by letting go of the past. And I've learned that the less I hold on to, the lighter I feel, emotionally and mentally. It's not just about cleaning out your house, it's about decluttering your life. 18. Someday items. Free your mind and space. We all have those items in our homes. Those things we keep around with the vague, almost hopeful thought of, someday, I might need this. Maybe it's an old sewing machine that used to bring you so much joy, a forgotten pile of paint supplies collecting dust in a corner, or a treadmill that you promised yourself would help you get in shape, but now it just stands there as a reminder of unfulfilled intentions. We convince ourselves that one day we'll use these things again, that they'll serve a purpose. But let's pause and reflect for a moment. How long have they been sitting there, untouched, taking up space, and quietly weighing on your mind? For us seniors, these someday items can often be more than just objects. They hold the ghosts of our past dreams and unfinished plans. They can represent a time in our lives when we thought we'd have more energy, more time, more motivation. And while it's natural to hold on to the hope that we'll find use for them in the future, the reality is that these items are nothing more than emotional baggage that we cling to. They take up space in our homes, yes, but they also take up space in our hearts and minds. It's a constant reminder of all the things we didn't get around to. Over time, this clutter can chip away at our mental peace and our sense of well-being. As we get older, it becomes even more important to embrace simplicity. Our homes should feel like sanctuaries, places of calm, comfort, and serenity. But when we hold on to these someday items, they create chaos, both physically and emotionally. I know from experience that simplifying your environment can lead to a profound sense of freedom. The act of releasing what no longer serves you, both in your home and in your life, is liberating. It's like making room for the things that truly matter, those things that bring joy, purpose, and fulfillment in the present moment. So here's the advice I've come to live by. Be honest with yourself about what you're realistically going to use. If you haven't touched something in a year, or even longer, it's time to say goodbye. Donate it to someone who will truly appreciate it and make use of it. Picture someone else benefiting from that old sewing machine or that dusty paint set. It helps make the parting a little easier, knowing it will bring joy and purpose to someone else. When you let go of these things, you're not just clearing up physical space, you're creating room in your life for new experiences, new dreams, and new possibilities. Your home should reflect who you are today. Not the version of yourself you once were, but the person you are now. So take a deep breath, let go of the someday, and choose to embrace the present. Your future self will thank you for it. 19. Fragrance-loaded dryer sheets. A fresh change for your laundry. Let's dive deeper into the world of dryer sheets. Those small, seemingly innocent squares of fabric we toss into the dryer without much thought. They're designed to leave our clothes smelling fresh and feeling soft, a comforting touch to our laundry routine. But have you ever stopped to consider what's really inside those sheets? Beneath the pleasant fragrance and the promise of softness, many of these sheets are packed with harsh chemicals that could do more harm than good. Especially for us, the wiser and more experienced among us, who have come to understand the importance of protecting our sensitive skin. As we age, our skin becomes more fragile and more susceptible to irritation, and those artificial fragrances, designed to make our clothes smell heavenly, often hide a much darker side. These chemicals can cause rashes, trigger allergies, and even make breathing difficult, especially for those of us with respiratory concerns. Isn't it heartbreaking that something as simple as doing laundry could end up making us feel worse instead of better? What should be a peaceful, comforting chore can, over time, cause more harm than we realize. And let's not forget about the long-term effects. Dryer sheets leave behind a residue that clings to your clothes, slowly wearing them out and causing the fabric to break down faster than it should. These precious clothes we've grown fond of, that hold memories and comfort, begin to lose their life prematurely. It's a small but painful price to pay for a false sense of freshness. What's even more disheartening is that these sheets are designed for single use, contributing to the overwhelming pile of waste and clutter in our homes. We deserve better than that, don't we? So, here's where I suggest we take a step towards something better. something that aligns with our values of care, simplicity, and sustainability. Why not make the switch to wool dryer balls? They're a game changer. Natural, reusable, and completely chemical-free. Not only will they protect your skin from harmful irritants, but they also reduce static and soften your clothes in a way that feels both gentle and responsible. If you miss the subtle fragrance that dryer sheets offer, a few drops of essential oil on the wool balls can give you that same fresh scent without the hidden dangers. By making this change, you're not just protecting your skin, you're protecting the environment, too. In a world so overwhelmed by waste and chemicals, embracing natural alternatives is an act of love for yourself and the planet. It's a simple yet powerful shift, one that preserves the things we cherish most: our health, our homes, and our planet. Isn't it time to embrace a cleaner, more thoughtful approach to the everyday tasks that we hold dear? 20. Healthy cooking choices. Say goodbye to deep fryers. Let's take a moment to reflect on the space in our kitchens, particularly that bulky deep fryer tucked away in the corner. For years, it may have been a tempting tool, a promise of homemade fries, golden crispy chicken, or delicate tempura at home. It sounded like the perfect way to treat yourself and your family to indulgent meals, all with the convenience of staying in. But over time, we begin to realize that it has become more of an eyesore than a tool of convenience. It takes up precious counter or cabinet space, and honestly, is it worth the hassle? The cleanup alone is enough to make anyone rethink their decision. For us, as we grow older, our bodies crave healthier options. Fried food, once a guilty pleasure, can become a health hazard. It's hard to deny that greasy, heavy meals, though delicious at the moment, weigh us down in ways that affect our energy, mood, and overall well-being. When we consider how much more conscious we need to be of what we put into our bodies as we age, it becomes clear: fried food isn't our friend anymore. We can still enjoy those crispy textures, but without the excess oil that burdens our hearts, waistlines, and overall health. That's where making smarter choices in the kitchen comes in. I've found that ditching the deep fryer in favor of an air fryer or convection oven not only improves the quality of my meals, but also adds a level of ease to my cooking routine. These alternatives provide the same crispy results, without all the unhealthy fats that deep frying demands. Imagine enjoying your favorite foods, lighter and healthier, without sacrificing flavor. They're also far less cumbersome, taking up much less space and looking so much sleeker. These appliances are far more versatile and, in my opinion, a much better use of your kitchen space. We're all searching for balance and peace in life, and that includes in our kitchens. Replacing the deep fryer isn't just about making a healthier choice for our bodies, it's about reclaiming that space in our homes, making room for what truly matters. So my question to you is, why keep holding on to that old deep fryer when there are healthier, easier, and more space-efficient options waiting for you? Take the step toward healthier eating, clearer counters, and a more peaceful kitchen. 21. Repurpose hotel freebies. Give them a new life. Let's take a moment to talk about the little treasures we often collect during our hotel stays, those seemingly insignificant items that we tuck into our bags, thinking we'll surely use them one day. You know the ones I'm talking about, the tiny bottles of shampoo, the shower caps, the travel-sized soaps, and perhaps even the disposable razors or those cute little sewing kits. At the moment, these items feel almost too valuable to leave behind, and we convince ourselves that they're practical enough to take home. But how often do they see the light of day after that trip? It's all too easy to throw them into a drawer or a shelf, where they remain forgotten, collecting dust and taking up space. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment below to let me know that you are still here with me. I've found over time that these small items can quickly pile up, and for those of us who are a bit older, the temptation to hold on to things just in case is even stronger. I'll admit, I've been guilty of it myself, thinking I might use this someday, and before I know it, I have a whole collection of unused hotel freebies that never quite make their way into my daily life. It's easy to let these things sit in a drawer, silently adding to the sense of clutter that can sometimes feel overwhelming, especially when our living space is already full of things we've gathered over the years. But here's the truth I've come to realize. Keeping too many of these little items does more harm than good. They don't just take up physical space, they also take up mental space, contributing to the stress and frustration of feeling like we're surrounded by too much stuff. That's why I suggest we take a step back and give these hotel freebies a fresh perspective. Instead of letting them pile up and gather dust, let's repurpose them or pass them on to someone who will benefit from them. Take a moment to go through these items. Keep what's genuinely useful, like that travel-sized bottle of shampoo that could come in handy on your next trip. But don't hold on to things out of obligation or the fear that you might need them someday. Shower caps, for example, are perfect for protecting your shoes and your luggage, or even for covering food in the fridge. Those mini soaps? They don't need to sit around unused. Consider donating them to a shelter or a community program where they'll be appreciated and put to good use. I find that passing along these items not only clears up my space but also gives me a sense of fulfillment. It's a small but meaningful act, knowing that what I no longer need can be used by someone else in need. Repurposing or donating these hotel freebies not only frees up physical space in our homes but also lightens the emotional load of having too many things. And let me tell you, there's something deeply satisfying about the act of letting go, about knowing that something as simple as a mini bottle of shampoo can have a second life and that I'm not hoarding things that I'll never use. By giving these items new purposes, you're not only clearing your space but also creating a sense of peace and accomplishment. It's these little changes that can make a big difference in our lives. 22. Gentle skincare choices, a softer touch for your skin. As we navigate the passage of time, one thing becomes increasingly clear. Self-care is not just a luxury, it is an essential act of love toward ourselves. Our skincare routine, in particular, holds immense significance as we age, and I truly believe it's an area where we often overlook the subtle yet profound changes our bodies undergo. Our skin, once supple and resilient, starts to thin, becoming more delicate and sensitive. Over the years, it has endured countless challenges: sun exposure, environmental pollutants, and the natural effects of aging. In this delicate phase, our once beloved harsh cleansers or chemical-laden products can do more harm than good, often exacerbating the very issues we're trying to resolve. If you're anything like me, you might have clung to certain skincare habits from your younger years. Those makeup wipes that promised to make life easier, or the heavily fragranced creams that we thought smelled luxurious. But let's face it, these are the very things that could be compromising the health of our skin. It's time for a change, a shift toward gentler, kinder skincare products that respect our skin's natural needs. And trust me, this shift can truly transform the way your skin feels and looks. For seniors, I can't stress enough the importance of choosing natural, minimalistic products. Think about aloe vera-based moisturizers, soothing botanical extracts, and cleansers free from artificial fragrances. These aren't just trendy, they're genuinely better for your skin, nourishing it in a way that chemical products can never do. The fewer the ingredients, the better. Your skin will thank you for the simplicity. This gentle approach isn't just about saving your skin from irritation. It's about allowing it to breathe, restore itself, and retain its natural glow. Consider making small but meaningful changes, such as replacing makeup wipes with a soft, reusable washcloth and a natural cleansing oil. Not only are they far gentler on your skin, but they also offer a refreshing eco-friendly choice, reducing single-use waste and contributing to a cleaner environment. And let's be honest, there's something truly satisfying about looking at your bathroom and seeing less clutter, less waste, and a greater sense of order. So, take a moment for yourself. Look at your skincare shelf and ask yourself, does this reflect how I want to care for my skin at this stage of life? This isn't about indulging in a fleeting trend. It's about honoring your skin and nurturing it with the respect it deserves. After all, the kindness we show to ourselves can have a lasting impact on both our appearance and how we feel. And let's face it, your skin deserves only the best care, especially now, when it needs it most. 23. Piggy banks in a cashless world, a new purpose for an old friend. Do you remember the simple joy of dropping coins into a piggy bank, feeling that satisfying clink as it filled up bit by bit? There was something magical about watching that little ceramic creature gradually grow heavier, holding your hard-earned change and symbolizing small steps toward saving. For many of us, piggy banks weren't just objects. They were reminders of childhood innocence, of dreams and goals, even if they were just saving up for a special treat or a toy. I often look back on those moments with a fond sense of nostalgia, remembering the excitement of seeing that bank slowly filled to the brim. But today, in this digital cashless world, it's easy to overlook the simple treasures of the past. With payments made through cards, apps, and digital wallets, the physical act of saving has almost become obsolete. And so, those beloved piggy banks, once a tangible part of our daily lives, sit quietly on shelves, empty and forgotten, gathering dust. It's easy to dismiss them as relics of another time, outdated and irrelevant. However, I believe there's more to these charming objects than meets the eye, especially for seniors who may be looking for ways to reconnect with their past while finding new meaning in their daily lives. While coins may no longer be something we handle regularly, these piggy banks still have so much to offer, especially when we let go of the notion that their sole purpose is to store spare change. Why not transform them into something more meaningful? A memory jar, for instance, something to hold little mementos, like photographs, notes, or tokens that remind us of happy moments. Each time we glance at it, we can be reminded of the richness of our lives and the treasures we've accumulated beyond just money. And if you happen to have a collection of these old banks, consider selecting a favorite to keep as a sentimental piece, something that speaks to you. Let it become a small but cherished part of your home, a quiet reminder of a simpler, more carefree time. As for the rest, there's no harm in letting them go, either by donating them to a school, a community center, or any group that might appreciate them. You'd be surprised at the joy these small, often overlooked items can bring to a new generation. Letting go of the extras doesn't mean you're losing anything. On the contrary, it clears space in your home, both physically and emotionally, freeing up room for new experiences while still holding onto the memories those piggy banks represent. So, when you look at your piggy banks now, ask yourself, what's hidden inside them? More than just coins, they carry pieces of your past. And how can you breathe new life into them? Perhaps it's time to give these old friends a new role, allowing them to continue holding something meaningful as we move forward into a world that's constantly changing. It's all about finding new purposes for the things we love, and in doing so, discovering new joy in the old. 24. Old magazines and newspapers. Clear the clutter and breathe easier. Let's take a moment to talk about something that often accumulates over time. Magazines and newspapers. We've all been there, thinking to ourselves, I'll get around to reading this later, or this recipe looks too good to toss. We keep them in stacks, tucked away in drawers, or piled on the coffee table, convinced we'll come back to them when we have the time. But let's be honest, how often do we revisit them? And when we do, how much of that important reading turns out to be forgotten trivia or outdated information? For us, seniors, decluttering goes far beyond simply tidying up. It's about cultivating a space that's easy to live in and, more importantly, easy to enjoy. When we take a step back and look around, we realize that the piles of old magazines and newspapers not only fill up our space but also fill up our minds with unnecessary clutter. Holding on to them can feel like an emotional attachment to the past, a sense of comfort, nostalgia, or even just the hope that we might need them someday. But those old papers, they're not helping us. They're often gathering dust, trapping allergens, and making it harder to keep our air fresh and clean. Every time we dust, we notice that layer of paper gathering more and more dust, like a silent reminder of things left undone. But there's more. As we grow older, navigating around those stacks becomes more than just an inconvenience. It can become a safety hazard. Piles of magazines on the floor or a magazine rack teetering on the edge of collapse can easily become a tripping hazard. I know I've caught myself trying to squeeze past a pile or scrambling to move things off the floor, thinking, I'll get to it later, only to find myself holding my breath in frustration because it never seems to end. Our homes should be safe sanctuaries, places where we can move freely and without worry. Every piece of clutter we remove brings us one step closer to that peace of mind. So, what can we do about it? It's simple. Start small, but start. Go through your collection of magazines and newspapers and ask yourself, do I need this? Will I ever read it again? If there's an article or recipe you love, take a photo of it or clip it out and save it digitally or in a folder. No need to keep a stack of paper when all you need is that one cherished memory. Recycle the rest. It's freeing, truly. The difference it makes in how you feel, in how your home feels, is astonishing. The space feels lighter, brighter, airier. Suddenly, you can breathe easier, not just in your surroundings but within yourself. Take a moment. Look under your coffee table, in the corners, or in that long-forgotten magazine rack. You'll be surprised at how much there is to clear away. Let go of the old, and allow your home to embrace the new, a simpler, calmer environment that reflects your current needs and joys. You deserve it. 25. Bulky furniture. Create a more comfortable space. Let's take a moment to reflect on the furniture that surrounds us, those bulky, imposing pieces that have, over the years, come to define our homes. Perhaps it's that oversized armchair that once cradled us after a long day but has now sat unused for what feels like a decade, or the grand dining table that no longer serves the purpose it once did. We hold on to these items, not because we truly need them anymore, but because they've carried memories, moments of joy, and perhaps some sorrow too. However, as time passes and our needs evolve, it's crucial to ask ourselves, do these pieces still fit our lives, or are they merely weighing us down? For those of us in our later years, the decision to adjust our living spaces goes beyond just making them look pretty or stylish. It's about practicality, comfort, and, above all, safety. These bulky items that once made our homes feel complete can now, unintentionally, turn into obstacles. A room filled with oversized furniture can make movement more difficult, and for those of us who rely on walkers and canes, or just need a little extra space, these pieces can pose real risks. The risk of tripping, falling, or simply struggling to get from one place to another can increase dramatically, and the last thing we want is for our home, which should be a sanctuary, to feel like a labyrinth. So, I urge you to pause for a moment and truly examine your space. Stand back, look around, and ask yourself, do I still need this chair that's gathering dust? Does this table still serve me, or has it become more of a nuisance? If the answer is no, then don't be afraid to let go. It might be hard at first, but donating or selling those pieces can be liberating. It's a chance to free up your space, your mind, and your heart. By replacing them with smaller, more functional pieces that reflect your current needs, you'll transform your home into a space that feels lighter, safer, and more inviting. And let me tell you, the difference it makes is profound. Suddenly, your home becomes a place where you can breathe deeply, move freely, and truly relax. Every corner of your living space will feel more accessible, more peaceful, and more aligned with your life as it is now. It's not just about making things look nice, it's about creating a home that serves you, where you can feel both comforted and empowered. Trust me, the peace and ease you'll gain from making those changes will be worth every step. 26. Unnecessary decorations. Simplify your space with meaningful touches. As we age, the space we live in becomes increasingly important. Our homes should be places of comfort, serenity, and reflection, but over time, they can easily become cluttered with unnecessary decorations. It's so easy to get caught up in the idea that adding more items will make our homes feel warmer or more personal. We collect trinkets, figurines, and pictures, each one meant to tell a story or bring a touch of life to a room. But, over time, these things can start to feel like a burden rather than a blessing. The truth is, that too many decorations can create a sense of chaos rather than calm. Rather than filling the space with beauty and meaning, they often serve to overwhelm us, making it harder to clean, harder to move around, and harder to breathe. It's not about getting rid of everything that brings us joy, but rather making space for the things that truly matter. We've lived long enough to know that the real treasures are not in the number of objects we collect, but in the memories and emotions that certain pieces can evoke. For those of us in our later years, simplifying our decorations is an act of self-care. It's a way to let go of the excess and focus on what truly brings peace to our hearts. The small, meaningful touches, like a photograph of loved ones, a vase passed down from a dear friend, or a painting that never fails to make us smile, are the things that deserve space in our homes. These are the things that remind us of who we are, where we've been, and what's truly important. As I look around my own space, I often find myself asking, does this piece still bring me joy, or is it just occupying space? If the answer is no, it's time to let go. Perhaps it's not even something that needs to be thrown away. Donate it, pass it along to someone who may find a new appreciation for it, or simply store it away if it doesn't serve a purpose anymore. Letting go isn't just about tidying up. It's about making room for the things that matter, the things that hold emotional weight, and the things that make us feel truly at home. When I simplified my own space, it felt like I was breathing for the first time in a while. The house felt lighter, easier to navigate, and most importantly, more reflective of my true self. Instead of feeling overwhelmed by a sea of things, I now feel surrounded by love and memories, things that hold meaning and stories that remind me of all that I've lived and loved. So, take the time to walk through your home with a fresh perspective. Let go of the unnecessary clutter and keep only what brings you peace, happiness, and warmth. Simplifying your decorations doesn't mean sacrificing charm. It means creating a space that truly supports your well-being, a space where you can feel calm, centered, and at ease. 27. Unused fitness gadgets. Reclaim your space and simplify. Let's face it, how many of us have a corner or a closet in our home that's brimming with fitness gadgets, all bought with the best of intentions? We thought we were going to use them every day, perhaps hoping they would become part of our routine, but as time went on, they've become little more than dust collectors. Maybe it's a thigh master, a set of resistance bands that have been forgotten, or even that bulky treadmill that now serves as a makeshift coat rack. I know I've been guilty of it, buying something I thought would change my life, only to see it eventually gathering dust in the corner of the room. It's easy to let these items pile up, but we have to be honest with ourselves. If they aren't serving us, they're just taking up space. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 5 below to let me know that you are still here with me. For seniors like us, staying active is vital for maintaining good health and feeling our best. But here's the truth. Staying active doesn't require a collection of expensive or complicated equipment. Having all these unused gadgets lying around can end up creating more clutter, making it harder for us to move around safely in our homes. Every time we see them, they serve as a constant reminder of something we should be doing but aren't. That reminder, more often than not, can be discouraging and leave us feeling like we're failing, like we aren't measuring up to some fitness standard that's been set for us. So here's what I suggest we do. Take a good, hard look at your fitness gear. Ask yourself, do I use this? Keep the things that truly serve you, like a yoga mat that gets unrolled a few times a week or a set of light weights that help you stay strong. For everything else, why not let go of the clutter? Consider donating those items to a local community center or selling them online. It's a win-win. Someone else can benefit from what you no longer need, and you'll have more room to breathe, to move, and to do things you enjoy. I believe the key to our happiness and well-being, especially as we age, lies in simplicity. It's not about having every gadget or piece of equipment. It's about finding joy in the small, everyday things. A peaceful walk through the park, some gentle stretches, or even just taking the time to breathe deeply and focus on our health. The less we hold on to, the more room we create for the things that truly matter in our lives. Peace, balance, and the freedom to live well without all the extra weight. both physically and emotionally. 28. Share unused items. Declutter with purpose and joy. As we near the end of this journey, I want to leave you with a thought that holds deep significance: the power of sharing. Over the years, we all collect things. Some are treasured, some are fleeting, and others simply become a part of the background. Yet, as time passes, we find ourselves surrounded by items that, while still in good condition, no longer serve a purpose in our lives. Whether it's extra dishes you haven't used in years, a chair that no longer fits your space, or even a stack of books you've already read and no longer feel connected to. These items take up space, not just in your home, but in your heart. They hold memories, and while they've served their time in your life, they no longer fit the present you've created. But here's where it gets beautiful. Though they no longer have a place in your world, they can be a true blessing to someone else. For us, seniors, decluttering isn't just about making our homes neater or more organized. It's much deeper than that. It's about finding purpose, letting go of what no longer serves us, and allowing something beautiful to unfold. Donating your unused items to local charities, schools, or shelters doesn't just clear physical space, it brings light to someone else's life. Imagine the joy of knowing that your extra things are bringing happiness and utility to someone who truly needs them. There's something incredibly fulfilling about knowing that an item that once sat in your cupboard or on your shelf is now being used and appreciated by someone else. Here's my humble advice. Start small. Choose one area of your home, maybe a closet, a drawer, or a room, and look for items that no longer bring you joy or serve a purpose. As you gather these belongings, think about who could truly benefit from them. Perhaps a neighbor who's just moved in, a family member who could use them, or a community organization that could use your donation to help others. The beauty of this act is that it not only lightens your load, it strengthens your connections with others. It's a simple but profound way to share love, joy, and care. There is something deeply transformative about giving away what no longer serves you. By finding a new home for your unused belongings, you're not just clearing your space, you're making room for what matters. In your house, yes, but more importantly, in your heart. When you create space for others, you also create space for gratitude, for connection, and for a more intentional way of living. Letting go becomes a gesture of love, a way to reconnect with the world around you. It's more than just a simple act. It's a gift you give to yourself and to the people who need it most. As we wrap up this journey together, I want to take a moment to reflect on everything we've explored. From embracing the wisdom that comes with age to taking practical steps towards living a healthier and more fulfilled life, we've touched on ideas that can truly make a difference in how we experience our later years. Whether it's letting go of unused items to create space for what matters most or finding new ways to care for ourselves and our relationships, I hope you found something here that resonates with you. So let me ask you, what have you learned so far? What new insight or practice will you bring into your life today? I would love to hear from you. Please take a moment to comment below this video and share one thing that you'll start practicing in your own life. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please leave a comment, like, share, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Your support means so much, and together, we can continue to build a community that values wisdom, self-care, and meaningful living. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to hearing from you.